Okay, welcome everybody, and thank you to another episode of Malden Talks. Um, we're getting ready for election season coming up after Halloween and before Thanksgiving. And tonight, I have a special guest host, Terlonzo Amos. He's going to take over the show for a while, and he's going to query me about whatever interesting things that people may be concerned about, have questions about concerning the upcoming elections. So, Talonzo, please take it away.
Well, Joe, first of all, thank you for this opportunity. And thank
Mm-hmm.
you for asking me to be a guest host on this segment. So, I have written down 5 questions,
Sure.
okay? And you might see the themes of the questions, but in any case, let's just get right into it.
Got it.
So, question number 1, as you stated earlier, that you are a candidate, you are running for School Committee, Ward 6 in Malden.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, what I want to know is what, if elected, what do you bring to the table of sitting on the committee?
What I bring to the table is somebody who cares, somebody who fights for the children. Um, a group in town has compiled a history of about the last 10 years of issues I've fought for from literally one end of this city to the other, both in the schools, the parking lots, the green spaces. As a matter of fact, I was the primary person behind getting the water bills changed and upgraded in this city. I fought a lot of battles, I fought a lot of issues, and one of the biggest ones I fought over the years is for the children. I have 3 children in the Malden public school systems.
What are their names?
Jasmine, Ved, and Krish. The one of the biggest initial issues that got me into this was about 5 years ago. There was a huge battle to repair the roof on the school that my children were going to school in. It was crumbling. It was leaking.
And what school was this?
Linden.
Okay.
The city wasn't going to spend money to repair the roof. I said, well, that's crazy. And I took it personally.
Right.
My children are in this building.
Was there any justification of the city, or how did they try to justify, like what was their reasoning for not initially wanting to spend money on this roof?
That's a trick question.
Okay.
Without wasting too much time going into too much detail, the entire project was held up by one counselor.
Okay.
And when directly questioned during city council meetings why, a reason was never given.
Okay.
Okay? And the money was already allocated in that scenario. The money was going to come from the cemetery department. The cemetery board of directors voted to allocate $500,000 as a gift to the school department to fix the roofs and the infrastructure on the schools.
That's a generous gift.
They said, and the rationale was, our living children need it more than a fresh field of grass on the dead people.
Right.
They can wait a year. $500,000. One of the city councilors at the time said, no, we couldn't get a straight answer. We fought and fought and fought, and I have to pat myself on the back. I forced the issue. I wasn't in the school committee, I wasn't on the city council, but I forced the issue. In that situation, some of the teachers approached me behind the scenes, handed me a chip with a video of real-time damage that was occurring inside the school during a massive thunderstorm. It was flooding all over the city, and there was flooding inside the school. I took that video, I posted it on social media. Next thing you know, the mayor's calling me on my cell phone. The entire city council turned on a dime because they could see.
Right. You know, social media is huge, and our mayor is very social media savvy, and there's a lot of good things that social media can do. And so you use the tool of social media to make change happen.
And the city council voted almost unanimously. There was only one no vote. There was only one no vote I got that school fixed. I'm like, I'll say it again. My children were in that building.
Right.
Damn it if I wasn't going to do something.
Right, you certainly took it personal. Well, you know what? You should be able to pat yourself on the back. I'm not going to pat you on the back, but I'm going to give you a high five. That was, I like that. So that's question number one.
There's been a lot of other battles. That's one of the biggest ones.
Right.
I always tell that one.
Right.
So what do you like?
So that's question number one. Question number two. You are not a native Moldonian.
No.
Correct? Okay. What is it about Malden that draw you here to live here and to raise your family here?
I
What
was
is it?
ordered to.
You were ordered to. Okay. Did that order come from a higher power?
Yes, my wife.
Your wife. Okay. Your wife's name?
Rachna.
Rachna.
Long before we owned a home,
Mhm.
long before we had children, before we got married, we had a decision to make. Where are we going to live? And, you know, looking up at me with those eyes, you know, and said, my sickly mother's here. I'm like, okay, I lost.
Right.
That was it.
Right. So is Rachna from Malden? Is her family
Yeah.
from Malden? Okay.
Grew
so
up here.
Grew up here, graduated Malden school system.
Malden High graduate, yes.
Okay, good. So,
Not originally from here. Her family's from India. Okay, and then they went to Canada and they immigrated here. And as children, she came up through the Malden school system. So she's effectively a native Moldonian.
that's the way I look at it. She's a Moldonian.
Yes,
So, yeah, so, okay.
from a little girl.
Right, so a Moldonian ordered you to move here. And
It was a no-brainer.
I'm personally glad that she ordered you to move here, because if she had
Well,
not,
well, it
you
wasn't-
and I wouldn't be having this conversation. We would have never met.
It wasn't exactly an order, but the writing was on the wall.
Right.
You can't say no.
It wasn't an order, but it wasn't up for debate either.
No. No. You pick your battles.
Okay. My third question for you, Joe.
Yes.
You and I have known each other for quite some time. I think about at least 5 years or something
At
like
least,
that.
at least.
At least 5 years. Always had pleasant conversations with you.
Mhm.
You are a positive, upbeat guy. I've never seen you have a bad day or just not willing to have a conversation with anybody. You're just really a good people, down earth people. Okay. I want to know what really irks your nerves. What, give me one thing that gets you mad, that frustrates you. That's, what puts a frown on your face?
Some things they can't say in public.
Well, give me an example that you can say in public.
Let's go to number 2. so some things are not, kid friendly. Number 2 is not knowing what's next. Okay.
Okay, in terms of?
It took me a long time in life to understand that I improvise. I improvise a lot. My life has always been that way, and as I've gotten older, I've come to accept the fact that's just the way I am. And I've worked on a lot of issues. I've tried a lot of things, and I'll come up with all kinds of crazy ideas and throw them against the wall. And then I'll realize a couple of years later, that was a dumb idea. It wasn't going to work, it didn't work, but I learned. And what bugs me is the fact that I'm a late bloomer. Some people know what they want to do with their life by the time they turn 20 years old. I was clueless. I was a clueless teenager. I just sort of existed, and just moved from issue to issue, space to space. But now as I'm getting older, I think I've reached a point in my life where I realize, for lack of a better term, I've matured. And it kind of bugs me that it's taken so long. And I sort of envy people who matured by the time they hit 18, 19 and know what they want to do with their life. Me, I'm in my mid-50s, and now I know what I want to do with my life? Oh, well, que sera, sera.
You know the saying, it's better late than never.
Yes. I'm more definitive now. I'm more clear. Um, if issues come up, I'm either pro or con, or this or that, or I stay out of it.
Right.
You know, if it's gonna get real nasty and raucous, and there's, you know, it's like when you get into an argument with somebody on Facebook. Does anything ever get resolved? No.
I don't think so.
No,
I
it
don't
doesn't.
think so.
It goes nowhere.
Right.
So I'm like, not gonna deal with that.
Right.
See, I know now not to get into that because it's pointless. People get angry, people get hurt about the stupidest things. I'm not going there. I try to stick to facts, stick to what I know, and try to make clear, concise decisions based on what's available in front of me. There's a lot of reasons for that.
On a side note, and this wasn't part of my question, but this just came into my head as you were talking about social media, about Facebook. Does anybody win arguments on Facebook? No. As you know, Malden has a couple of Facebook pages, a few of them that might be too many to list. I've just recently become a member of a few of them just to read what was going on. And you want to talk about a platform for arguing, in my opinion,
Yes.
for arguing and just conversations going nowhere. And it's like, for what?
And endlessly.
Endlessly. I have yet to post anything in these forums. I'm not going to post anything in these forums. I heard that these forums existed. I just wanted to be able to read it myself because reading is believing. And it's hard for me to believe what I be reading. But it's there. So this is a little side note, a little segue. I just wanted to, put that on the record. And that's just for myself. That's just my own comment. Question number 4.
Yes.
Remind me again, what branch of the military did you serve in?
U.S. Army.
U.S. Army.
4 years active duty.
Well, first of all, thank you for your service.
I was in the early 1980s, joined straight out of high school. Remember I said I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life early on?
Right.
And I just kind of wandered, fell into this, fell into that, and it was just the next logical step because I had no clue.
Right.
And it actually turned out to be good. It helped me build the foundations of a career. It helped me learn things about myself, and it started putting building blocks in place that I could work with. One of the first big building blocks was patriotism, love of country. That was more of an abstract when I was younger, but it became focused because during the early 1980s, we were still in the Cold War. We all knew we were going to die. We knew. I mean, it was indisputable. So my first duty assignment as a crypto technician was the front lines in Europe. I got stationed in Germany, and we all knew we were going to die. If the Soviets attacked, we were all just there to soak up bullets and be a speed bump till somebody else comes and doesn't something.
Right.
And we accept. You know when I got to my first duty assignment in Germany, in my job, I worked in a super secure vault, underground, under headquarters. One of the first assignments our officers gave us as young privates, we got the speech, and we controlled the code books. We didn't have computers then. We controlled the code books that all the troops on the front lines need to communicate securely back and forth. So not if, when the Soviets attacked and our position was being overrun, in Germany mind you, we were to take the code books and some of the secure equipment, throw it in a 55-gallon drum, and blow it up after we locked the door. We were in a vault underground. So one of my private buddies said, excuse me, sir, wouldn't that kill us too? He just kind of looked at us and puffed on his cigarette again, like, you just gave us a look like, that's a dumb question.
Wow.
and me and the other young recruits are like, wow, we just been given direct orders to kill ourselves.
Right. You're 18 years old.
18 years old.
18 years old.
Yeah. We were not to be taken alive. Our specific department. There was only like 4 or 5 of us. We were the code guys. We were the crypto unit. Us and our books with all the secret codes. When we were attacked, we were under direct orders to blow ourselves up. And that's something that sinks into your mind, and you realize this is the real world. We're making real decisions, not subjective what ifs. This is it. So we were all prepared to die because that was the job description. Kill yourself.
Wow, that's
Do not get. We weren't supposed to be taken alive.
that is heavy. You didn't have direction. You didn't know what you wanted to do after high school.
Yeah.
So you decided to join the military, and within a matter of months,
Mm-hmm.
you're given orders,
Direct orders.
direct orders, to die, to kill yourself.
That's part of the job description.
Wow. Again, I gotta thank you for your service. I couldn't have done that. I could not have done that.
No.
So
Well. I won't go into too many details, but every now and then, people around me that I lived with in the barracks, sometimes people would disappear or be found dead in a gutter in the street downtown, because there are a lot of spies around. And occasionally somebody would get court-martialed because they were caught cavorting with a spy, or they'd disappear, or they'd end up with their throat split somewhere. This is the world I lived in. It was real. I won't tell you some of the other stories, but that's. But my
save
mindset-
those stories when we turn the camera off, okay? There's some stuff you might not want
No,
to
we're getting way out of the school committee stuff.
My question was, first of all, I'm glad that you shared it with us. My question I was going to lead to that was, can you give me like the funniest moment in the military? But I don't even want to ask that question because I don't want to follow that up with the realism that you just said. So I'd rather just
There's hundreds. Some of them I don't even remember. You know, they give you a cup of beer this tall. You don't remember stuff.
There was a story about the tank. I remember you telling me a story about the tank. Something with the
I
tank.
don't remember.
Driving the tank or something with the tank.
No.
We don't want to go there.
Well,
We can go there after we turn the camera off.
just one of my first assignments.
Yeah.
My first assignment, shortly after I get there. I've never driven a stick shift before in my life. You're taken out to an airfield, put that in the airfield on base, give them a 5-minute verbal instruction how to drive a Jeep, a stick shift. A couple other privates with me, good old country boys, they got no problem. I'm a city kid. You know, I grew up in Boston. I've never seen a stick shift in my life. I get 5 minutes of verbal instructions, you do this, you do that. I'm like, really? Okay. So I get put behind the wheels and I start grinding gears. I get the Jeep up and down the field once. The sergeant, our commanding officer, turns to me and says, Joe, if I had a sucking chest wound and you had to get me to the hospital, can you do it? Like, I'm thinking to myself, these people are crazy. I said, yeah. He said, okay. Pull out his pad, sign something, say, here's your license. I'm like, what? You're authorized to drive. I said, okay, these people are crazy.
Yeah.
Less than 24 hours later, the alarms go off like 4 a.m. Military exercise. We're supposed to roll out, pack up the base, and go out to the woods and play war games. So I go out to the motor pool, and I see somebody spray painting my name on the driver's side door of an 18-wheeler. I'm like, huh? Wait a second, I just learned how to drive a Jeep. They said, oh, you drive. I was like, why? Rule is, lowest ranking person is the driver. I'm like, now they tell me, and you can't say no.
Right.
So I hop in, and of course this 18-wheeler is a stick shift. I'm like, these people are crazy. I'm thinking it to myself, but you do what you have to do.
Right.
I got it in gear. I'm like, well, it's just a bigger Jeep. I'm thinking, crank it up, and I get in formation. Halfway through the day, I kind of rolled it over on its side because I misjudged, the edge of a road. The dirt was soft, it had been raining for a couple of weeks, and the truck flipped over and nearly killed me. If there was a boulder in that ditch at the side of the road, it would have come right through the windshield and killed me. And we just laughed. Wrecker came by, put a winch on it, yanked back on all the wheels, right in the middle of the field.
Right, and off you went.
And off we went. Get back in. I got back in, cranked up the engine, and kept going.
Get back on that horse.
No excuses. Do what you got to do. And over, all kinds of crazy stories I had. I had to do what I had to do. No excuses, no whining. Well, everybody whines in the background, but no complaining. You know, and now it's later in life. I'm older. I'm not in the front line. There's no way I'm going to be on the front lines in combat or any situations or anything with the infantry. But as I'm older, I think I'm filling a new role. I can be in the front line for the children now. Okay. The attitude, the mindset I learned from early in life, growing up next to the ghettos in Boston, you know, gang and drug infested neighborhoods, and then transitioning to the military, you know, where I just assumed somebody's going to kill me, or if they didn't, I'd have to kill myself under orders. You know, that's just the way it was. It taught me responsibility. It gave me a focus in life, and to just keep trying things. I got on that treadmill of trying different things, and I'm kind of there now. Just so everybody know, I took a more or less, literally a vocational path through life. Never really finished college. I just couldn't. My mindset wasn't there. And I ended up with a career anyways. I'm like, I got lucky. I got lucky.
Did you truly get lucky, or was that the path that you were supposed to take? You know, college, 4-year, 6-year, 8-year university, it's not for everybody. We have trade schools, we have life experiences.
I had to learn the hard way. It wasn't for me, because I kept trying to get on that treadmill. And at first I couldn't understand why. My mindset wasn't there. But I was hardworking. I kept trying things, different things. For several years, I ran my own consulting company. I was a contractor. I don't know how I did that for like 5 years. You know, until somebody offered me a job. I'm like, these crazy people just offered me a job, just like that. Done. My career was set. Because I proved myself, I proved my worth, I proved my skills, and people liked what they saw. Done.
Maybe done. And my fifth and final question for you, Joe. You have a YouTube presence. You have a YouTube channel. What is the theme or the motivation of your YouTube channel?
I couldn't tell you exactly, except that, remember I've said several times tonight, I keep doing things and I keep throwing things up against the wall. I think one of the triggers for that was nearly 10 years ago when I first got into politics here in Malden. I don't think I've ever told this story publicly to anybody yet. I was campaign manager for a race. I think it was about 10 years, almost 10 years ago. I decided spontaneously, hey, you're gonna run? I'm your campaign manager. He's like, okay, done. When I tried to interface with the news media then, I got a lot of pushback, or sometimes not pushback, a lot of ignoring me. Requests would just go unanswered, emails unanswered, phone calls not returned. I couldn't get good coverage from my candidate. I said, something's got to change. I have to do something different. I've got to take control of this. I don't know what I'm going to do in the future, but if I don't have an infrastructure in place to present a message, to get a message out, it's on me, you know, for not preparing. And in the interim, I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea where it's going. But bit by bit, I built, and I found out about MATV. I said, okay, I'll get a membership, try a few classes, and start picking knowledge, from James, from Ann, from you, from Guillermo, from Brian. Over time, I just pick little bits of knowledge. Like tonight, flipping the screen over. I mean, it's little things,
right.
But over the years, all those little things add up.
Exactly.
That's why I did it. There wasn't a grand plan, just a feeling, a direction to go in. Just like the military, just like aiming for the school committee. Something that needs to be done. It's not 100% formed, but I know I have to do it, and if I don't do it, it isn't getting done. I know that's kind of vague, but I think over the years people could see that all around me. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm not doing anything extraordinary. I'm just, I guess, maturing late and finding my way. And initially, I have an inkling what the direction will be, and eventually, oh, that's how that's going to work. Oh, and this will fit together with this. Oh, instead of already doing this, well, that works too. And it just builds, and it builds on itself. And that's kind of what I like.
Well, Joe, those are all the questions that I have. I did not want to ask you the same routine, boring questions about why you want to be on the school committee and stuff like that, because,
It's going to happen.
It's just typical. I wanted to pull out of you for your viewers to just get to know you. What makes you tick, and what life experiences and professional, personal experiences that you could bring to the school committee to be a real asset on the school committee. So hopefully I've done that. You certainly answered questions in my mind. My one regret is that I'm a resident of Ward 7 Precinct 2. So I cannot vote for you. But I do know what ward and precinct I live in.
Just so you know, that's one of my pet peeves. More people aren't involved. I think there's an unusual class of people in the city who get involved. When I go around knocking door to door, a lot of the pushback I get from a lot of people, especially in the minority community, they don't want to get involved. Either from experiences from the old country, wherever they came from, or experiences wherever. They've grown up with a mindset to not get involved, not do anything, not bring attention to themselves, not care. But then in the next breath, they complain.
Right.
The roads aren't done. The water's not this. How come there's no streetlights? Da da da. The same people who are complaining things not being done in the schools or in the city are the same ones who won't show up to vote, or who won't run for anything. And there's nothing you can say.
And we all know there's no other place on this planet that you're going to have the opportunity that you're going to have to go to US of A if you want to influence change. Just get involved.
Just get involved. I believe I'm one of the anomalies. A lot of people wonder, why am I running? And it's like, I think it was clearly summed up in a really short sentence I saw probably a couple months ago by someone on one of these message boards we try to stay out of. Well, you can't win if you don't run. Period.
Right.
Can't change anything if you don't do anything. It's
not complicated. It's not rocket science. It's very simple.
Yeah. You just have to be willing to. And people were genuinely afraid for me. Joe, I'm talking nearly 10 years ago. It's kind of died down since. Joe, aren't you afraid they'll get you? If you run, I'm like, who?
Yeah, who's they?
Exactly. That's what I was told over.
The inside one should be
Okay.
the second one, not the first one. Second one.
Shop owners.
No, other one.
Getting ready to close, I guess. But that was it. Do something. That's it. Do something.
Joe, thank you for giving me this opportunity to
So you-
interview. It's a pleasure.
No, thank you. Couldn't do this without you. People need to see this. People need to hear. And we're going to end tonight's episode of Malden Talks. And what I'd like for everyone to do is show up. Vote. November 5th. Thank you.